ready!
Hello everybody, I'm Juby and welcome to part 11 of my Final Fantasy XIII Randomizer. Let's get to it. Alright, so here, kind of like before, we're going to run into some enemies. Those are the birds, the dancing birds. Now as soon as they're about to land, you can actually run into them and get a preemptive strike on them. So you kind of just wait for them to land and then run into them as they're about to fully hit the ground. And then, yeah, you'll get a preemptive strike. These guys are same as before. Same shot, really. Here I was trying to look and see if there was a treasure spear around here. But I guess there wasn't. But yeah, with the birds, just remember, if they use like a daze attack on you, then just use that foul thing and it should be alright. But yeah, I tried to avoid them as best as I could, so that's why I was zigzagging around them like that. Normally that does work, but sometimes it doesn't work. Depends. And there we got 622 gil. Alright, so up here we got the Bahamut fight. And like I said before, just make sure you got Fang's weapons pretty much, you know, to a good level. Give her some good accessories like I said, you can take them off of Hope or Saz or Snow because they won't be in the fight anyways. And you can put them right on Fang. You got Vendetta, Aurora, Aqua Strike, Overwhelm, Daze. Yeah, we can actually use Daze on enemies now. That's actually pretty good too. And Hope's got, and there's Z-Spell finally. And that's what I got on Vanille. But with Fang, I would just use strength, HP, anything to increase your strength, HP, or anything like that, you should be fine. Just keep attacking him here in the beginning now. The rolls are all going to be set for you. You can do the retime method and set them to the way that you want to. But I just stick with this because this shouldn't take long. It can be a bit frustrating, but as long as you keep the party members healed and stuff like that, then it'll be alright. So you switch to like combat clinic.
This'll be quick. Careful.
You can have Fang go into like a sentinel mode for protection. Endurance is pretty good. I will probably, yeah, I will be using that later as well.
Give it your best shot.
Switch back to like Assault and pretty much, even though I'm still in the yellow here, like I said before, I decided to risk it because as you see, I got the gauge up almost to where I'm about to hit away from like summoning him and getting him into our party. So I just decided to risk it here. And then we got Bahamut. So coming up, make sure before going into Grand Pulse here, you get enough, you upgrade Hope's weapon and get some good accessories on him if you don't have him in your party, because you will lose him up here and then you have to go into a fight as soon as you find him with his Idoma. So make sure you just have some good accessories on Hope as well.
Whatever it is the Fal'Cie want, we're the ones who decide what we do.
Yeah, so here in Grand Pulse, yep, we lost Hope. So if you had Hope in your party, then just use your next best member, which I just used Fang. seeing that I had all that good equipment on her and stuff. So I figured I might as well use her to at least get some stuff. It's not much to these areas up here. There's going to be some slugs. Same routine as 5th Arc. Just use like commandos on them. And then there's like these fire flans, I guess they are. You can switch to like Try Disaster and then Restless Assault or Severus if you need to. Yeah, so it's basically just keep going straight forward until you run into the cutscene here. Just follow the map all the way to the area where Hope is. And here we got 7 shattered bones. Yeah, it's a great way to get some criterion points until you reach Hope. But normally I just try to zigzag around them and try to get to Hope as quickly as possible. Alright, so we got Hope here. Now, kind of like with Bahamut, you can go to retry and then set your rolls to what you want them to. But I just stick with what I'm giving here.
I'll deal with you.
Just keep doing damage to them. Switch to a medic when you need it. And I believe Hope has got his synergist there. So if you got like buffs with Hope, then you can probably use that on your party. And it should help. You could also use the shroud before. You can use some shrouds before the fight, and it should work.
Bring it on.
Yeah, or you can keep Thang as a sentinel. Yep, just kind of like with the other Igones, he does a lot of damage to your party, so they'll either be close to dead or knocked out. So, yeah, if you got Phoenix Downs and somebody gets knocked out, then you can just use Phoenix Downs. Just make sure the main character that you're going to have to focus on is Hope, obviously. If he goes down, then that's the end of the fight.
Bring it on. Bring it on.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, I was gonna say, I think I might have risked it here. I did just a little bit.
Face it head on.
And then Hope is like one hit away from being killed, so I
I'll
had
deal
to go
with
back
you.
and heal. That's the problem with a lot of these fights, is that you're spending more time healing your characters than you are fighting, really. Almost seemed like he wasn't doing much damage to Hope there until he hit him again and then almost pretty much killed him. But yeah, you're basically looking at the same thing as as you did with Fang. Just make sure he's got like good health. And I was able to get there at the last second and then get him. Yeah, just make sure you got good health. I would more put, because Hope is based on magic really, and more health. So I would focus more on magic and health. Alright, so up here with the Seaf Stones, I did do a few of them. I didn't do them right now, I don't think. I know I did do them later. But I'm going to be doing a video on Seep Stones later on in the future, so even though I didn't, I'm working on that right now. That's why it's taking me so long to upload a lot of these videos. But I did do a couple of them because even the items from the Seep Stone are randomized, so I want to see exactly what they were dropping. Okay, so I did start this first. This first one is actually pretty easy. There's actually a little trick that you can do to get a preemptive strike on them and wipe them out quickly. There's a treasure spear over there to the right, which I didn't get, but I did get it later. Alright, so up here, you want to stick to the right. As soon as you get up this hill here, you want to stick to the right and kind of go into a big circle, per se, that big hill right in front of us right there. We're going to make our way around to a circle in front of that hill right there. I was trying to see if he turned around or not. Go to this like little circle spot on the ground, and then you come up from behind him like this, and you'll be able to get a preemptive strike. And then make sure, well, yeah, you can do haste at the beginning, but more, you just kind of want to quickly go to try disaster as quickly as possible, and then into aggression after you get him to a stagger. I really wouldn't worry about doing any debuffs on them, even though I did. It does help. But if you do a debuff on them, just make sure you're in it for like a split second. Try to see if you get something. If you can't get anything, just quickly switch back to aggression, and you should be able to get them. But yeah, see, that was my mistake. If I still 5-starred this, but even if I wouldn't have switched to Saboteur, I'd have been able to finish them off much quicker than this. There was only like 2, I believe, 2 or 3 I wasn't able to 5-star. But like I said, I'm going to be doing videos on Seep Stones soon. And I'm going to go for all 5-star rankings. So after that fight, you can immediately go into your second Seep Stone right here. And this one's pretty much straight ahead. It's a couple of wolves. That you that'll pop up here. Now here I would use a what's that? Invisibility Shroud and get a preemptive strike on them. And then of course stick with Try Disaster. If you got any August spells, use your August spells, like go into your menu quickly, use an August spell. And then it should get like a lot of them into a staggered position. And then switch to aggression, and then just keep hitting them, and they all die quickly. Yeah, see, like there, I used Bosaga, and I was able to get a lot of them into a staggered position. Yeah, you can also just stick with an August spell too the whole time, and wipe them all out like that as well. But yeah, that's why I say aggression, to kind of finish them off. Because you can have everybody attack at once. But August spells do work as well for wiping them out as soon as they are in stagger, because they are pretty powerful. So either way, you should be able to 5-star this. And then we get a spark ring from that. And then after this fight, you can go into your next Sea Stone. Now we have to go back over this. It's not exactly at the area where we had to go find Hope. But yeah, it's over in the next area past that. So here, if you do decide to fight these guys to get that treasure spear, try to kill them as quickly as possible because they will summon a behemoth. As you see, I had to summon Odin there. But if you don't kill them as quickly as possible, they will summon a behemoth, and you have to take out the behemoth too. So the behemoth is kind of like the same behemoth as he was in the 5th arc. Just make sure you're buff. Use aggression to get his stagger up a little bit, and then switch to try disaster to get him into a full stagger. Yeah, so the enemy is actually in the next... Yeah, he's in the next area. He'll be at the, pretty much at the start of the next area. Now this next enemy is almost kind of like how it was with the first Seastone mission. There is a way to get around him to do a preemptive strike on him, but I'm not sure. I haven't done it in quite a while, so I kind of forgot how to do it. But it's almost kind of like the same lines of that first Seastone mission that we did. Have to kind of maneuver your way around him to get a preemptive strike. I didn't bother to even try to get a preemptive strike or use a shroud on him. And so this is the area where we found Hope. And then we can get a treasure spear here, which is a potion. Alright, so yeah, this is the new area, and right up here should be this enemy here. And yeah, I also got deep protect, and that's all I was able to get was a deep protect with Saz. But yeah, do your Crysteriums as well as much as you possibly can, because it'll definitely help out in the long run. But that's the enemy right up there. Okay, I did use a shroud on him. But yeah, I would use a shroud, go into try disaster, start off with try disaster, get him into a stagger. And then go into aggression and try to do as much damage as possible. Now you can go into like use like a debuff on them if you need to.
Time for another approach.
But like I said, if you can't get anything within the next second or so, then just switch back.
Deal with this.
Definitely want to get him before the stagger ends, or at least do as much damage to him before the stagger ends. And then just go with try disaster, aggression. As you see, we were able to stagger him pretty quickly.
Deal with this.
And as long as he's in a stagger position and launched in the air, then I was not worried about healing lightning, because I know her health is getting really low. That's where it is kind of a risk, really, but at the same time, they're airborne, so they're not going to be able to do anything to you.
Out of my way!
But as soon as the stagger ends, then you want to try to get as much heal as possible.
Thank you.
And I was able to at least get one or two more, one more buff on him, one more debuff on him. And then I got him back into that stagger. He was almost dead, so I was not worried at all about dealing with him. Yeah, so these, like I said, I wasn't able to 5-star about 2 or 3 of them, but I wasn't really worried about 5-starring. I was more worried about seeing what items they were holding, like gold, green needle here. So if you're doing the randomizer, I really wouldn't worry about the 5 stars. I mean, unless if you wanted to. Now with this one, this one is a teleport stone. You can't teleport even after you beat the mission here. You'll have to find another teleport stone before you can teleport anywhere. But once you get like 2 or 3 teleports open, you'll be able to teleport to that area that you want. Like, we'll run into another teleport stone way up here. So once that one's unlocked, you can teleport to that area anytime that you want to. Very first time I played this, and I was doing the Sea Stone missions, it was saying that the Sea Stone, it looked like on my map, it was saying the Sea Stone mission was there, back there. And I kept looking for it everywhere. And I finally come to realize that now you have to keep going further in before it actually shows up on your map where it was. So if that gets a little confusing, then you'll have to keep going forward, and then it should show up on your map eventually on where exactly it's at. So these red plants here, if you can avoid them, then do, because when you first come to Grand Pulse and you fight those guys, they are very hard to deal with. You're gonna have to do like debuffs, healing, try disaster to get him to a stagger, and then aggression. But when he hits you, he does a lot of damage. And right up here, there's actually two of those plants after the Sea Stone mission that I'll run into and fight. So one of those is bad enough, but when you got 2 of them to fight, yeah, it's pretty hard. So if it becomes too much of a challenge, you might have to summon an Idolin. But up here we got these like imp guys. Now with this one, you do have to defeat them all within a certain amount of time, because like I was explaining before with grabbing that treasure spear way back in the beginning area, these guys will summon that last mark that we did at the beginning of this area. Will summon the exact same creature, or they'll summon the exact same creature. So you have to I would use invisibility shroud on them, and then immediately go into try disaster and use any August spells that you can. And then even then, if you have to, summon your Idolin, especially with Saz, because the Idolins will wipe them out real quick. Saz is probably the best for this area, really. But seeing that lightning was pretty much OP at this point, I was able to use lightning. Try to get some D-spells on them. And they got their own little lightning attack as well. But yeah, at the beginning, just use as much August spells as possible to get them into a stagger. And then I probably would stick with the August spells, try to wipe out as many as possible. Go into your Idolin, fight them until the Idolin start to run out, and then go into the final forms of them. If you have to, you can use the other Shrouds too to gain some buffs, which will help out a lot as well.
Shake the ground.
But it also depends on how many shrouds you have left too. So if you do see the word summon floating on top of one of their heads, try to wipe them out as quickly as possible. Because once they summon, you won't be able to 5-star if you're looking for 5 stars. So I was able to get them pretty quickly there. And we got 8 potions from that. Yeah, so later on, I actually went back to Grand Pulse to see if I could do any more Seastone missions, and they were too complicated to deal with because I was too under level, so I decided to, this is when I made it to Orphan's Cradle. Even when I made it to Orphan's Cradle, it was, and went back to Grand Pulse, it was still pretty hard, so I decided to wait until I did a video on Seastones. Yeah, those guys, when they go one direction, you go the opposite direction, and then you'll be able to get around them. So those fire flying guys that I was talking about, if you do have an Eidolon, you might want to use it up here. But if you don't have an Eidolon, then probably just have to grind some enemies until you get to level 3. Yeah, right here, these guys. Or do what I did there and try to get around them. Yeah, if you can avoid that fight, avoid it. Because they are pretty ruthless. I'll fight slugs any day over fighting those plants. At least until I got OP. So this is the, well actually, the next teleport stone is up here, but we're going to do one more sea stone mission, which is a little bit past here. And then we can go back and do this teleport stone. Yeah, so that's a teleport stone right there. Don't do that one just yet. We got one more sea stone coming right up here. Now with this enemy, yeah, make sure you do crush Therium before this next fight. But this next enemy, I would use shrouds on him. I believe I did. I'm not 100% sure. But I would use shrouds on him. Not the invisibility one, because it ain't gonna do nothing anyways. But I would use like the buff ones. Go into like a Tri-Disaster, and this is all my equipment that I have on everybody. But I would go into a, actually start off with aggression. Go into a Tri-Disaster. Now if you got any Esenas, if you got anybody with Esenas, make sure you have that person out as well. Because he will do a lot of debuffing on you. So you could switch to somebody that has Esena and then have them heal you. And also, the reason why I didn't grab that treasure spear back there is because once we hit the sea stone mission right here, all the enemies in this area will disappear. So I decided to wait until after the boss fight to get that one. But we got three treasure spears in total. Got Magician's Mark. Okay, yeah, I wanted to make sure I was in Tri-Disaster. Yeah, aggression. Yeah, that's right. Because like I was saying before, you want to do a little bit of damage in the beginning to try to get stagger up a little bit, get aqua green there, and then go into a try disaster to get him into a stagger. Yeah, I was kind of running low on shrouds, so I couldn't really I had to be careful where I was going to use them. That treasure spear I will grab after this fight here. But this guy's pretty much based on speed as well. So he's going to be very fast. And like I said, he's going to throw some debuffs on me. It looked like, I think it was poison? No. It was, daze. I think he does do like a poison attack as well. But yeah, you can throw some debuffs on him as well.
You asked for it.
And then use try disaster to get him into a stagger.
Deal with this.
And I believe as soon as I was able to stagger him here, I was also able to finish him off before the stagger ran out. And just stick to some healing.
Thanks. Out of my way! Keep a cool head.
Yeah, it looked like I finished him off before the stagger ran out. And then we didn't get nothing from his drop, but from the sea stone drop, we got the shop, which I believe that's vanilla. And I don't know why that was vanilla, but it was. So now you can make your way up to this teleport stone here, and then we can do that mission over there. Which, that one's not too far. That one's just up ahead, and it's a bunch of Arctic Wind, or Arctic Amulet, which I sold that. But it's not too far up ahead. It's a bunch of, I forgot their exact names. Those guys that I told you, if they went one direction, yeah, these guys, if they went one direction, you go to the other direction. So here it's the same way, just when fighting a lot of these guys, if you were to fight those guys before, those weren't the guys though. But just, I would use a shroud, go into like a try disaster, use any August spells, and I think I used some spells, debuffs. But yeah, I would start off with try disaster and use as much Aga as possible. Which I forgot to set that before the fight. But even so, even though that I did, I was still able to get them, a lot of them into a stagger before. And as you saw, I was quite at least 2 of them out beforehand. But Aga spells do work as well too, because you can use Aga to pretty much wipe them out. Not too hard of a fight really. I didn't even have to use buffs really. Really wasn't pointless, or really wasn't worth it to use like a haste. Plus, seeing that we only had a certain amount of time to defeat these enemies before
That wasn't so bad.
we lose the star. And that's a health accessory. And then a strength accessory, warrior's wristband. Yeah, I tried to get around those guys and couldn't. And I struggled. I really did struggle with that fight. But like I said earlier, if you have to use an Eidolon, yeah. That's it for part 11 of my Final Fantasy XIII Randomizer. If you guys have any questions, please let me know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys next time.